Order dissolves tonight. Tonight becomes terror.
This isn't a takeover. It's a collapse.
Chicago, Night of Chaos, in theaters now.
They came to see Christmas lights. They left running for their lives. What was supposed to be Chicago's magical holiday moment, families gathered for the annual tree lighting, turned into a war zone when hundreds of teenagers descended on the loop with guns, bear spray, and stun guns. 8 kids shot, 1 dead, 14-year-old Armani Floyd. He won't see Thanksgiving. He won't see Christmas morning. And while parents shielded their children from gunfire, Chicago's leaders were nowhere to be found. You see, this is what happens when cities surrender to chaos. When you can't even light a Christmas tree without dodging bullets, civilization has collapsed. These weren't random shootings. This was a coordinated teen takeover, 100 strong, moving through holiday crowds like an invading army. They brought chemical weapons. They brought stun guns. They brought death to what should have been the safest night of the year. And here is what makes it worse. Everybody saw this coming. Chicago has been building to this explosion for years. No consequences, no enforcement, and no leadership. When teenagers feel empowered to turn downtown into a battlefield, when they're attacking cops with bear spray while families cower behind barricades, you don't have a city anymore. You have a failed state. And the message to every family in America is clear. The people in charge have abandoned you. And while Chicago burns and families flee violence this holiday season, you deserve a moment of peace. And that's why we are supporting those who support us. Before we continue, take a moment to help keep independent journalism alive. Your donation at nnn.is/give, it's linked below, helps us expose the truth about urban collapse that the mainstream media ignores. Can't donate? Share this video then with somebody who needs to hear what's really happening in America's cities. Every share helps us bypass the censors who don't want these stories told. Together, we are the last line of defense against the chaos. So support us today at the link in the description. And here's what they're not telling you about that night. Police scanners revealed kids weren't just shooting, they were using military-style tactics, coordinating movements, targeting officers with chemical weapons, 100 to 300 juveniles moving in waves, overwhelming law enforcement. Darren Bailey, his vice gubernatorial nominee, Aaron Del Mar, his teenage son and girlfriend were right there when the shooting started. Thank God they survived, but how many weren't so lucky? And where was Mayor Brandon Johnson? Where was Governor Pritzker hiding? Because they'd rather let families dodge bullets than admit their soft on crime policies have turned Chicago into Mogadishu. But we have this beautiful moment at the White House. This just in a few hours ago. The First Lady welcoming and expecting the official White House Christmas tree. No shots fired there, of course. A beautiful moment as we start the holiday season, to give thanks for all that we have been given by God and to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in December. The First Lady welcoming the official White House Christmas tree. But it wasn't all peace and Thanksgiving, because in Chicago, a boy was killed. 8 teens were wounded in shootings tied to a teen takeover near the Christmas tree lighting. Look at this picture. Chaos. People running outside the Chicago theater. State Street shooting. We have this last night. This is from Darren Bailey. 48 hours ago last night, Aaron Del Mar's son, AJ, and girlfriend were downtown for the Christmas tree lighting when a shooting broke out nearby. 8 people were shot. 1 tragically died on the way to the hospital. Thank God AJ and his girlfriend were safe. But nobody should have to experience that in our state. I'm grateful for Aaron and everyone on our team who continues to fight to restore Illinois. It's not about politics. It's about our kids, our families, and the basic right to feel safe anywhere we go. Illinois families deserve better. We're going to keep speaking the truth. We're going to keep pushing back against the chaos, and we're going to bring law and order back to this state. Attached here, the headline, CBS News, 1 dead, 8 wounded after shootings in the Loop hours after Christmas tree lighting. 20 hours ago, here is a local news report on the Loop shooting.
Tonight, more large crowds are expected in downtown Chicago as many people begin to celebrate the holiday season. Now, along with the festive mood, there are some concerns about safety after 2 shootings here in the Loop, one that claimed the life of a teenager. An increased presence of Chicago police is visible in the Loop tonight after 2 separate shootings leave a teen dead and some holiday revelers alert but not concerned.
Can't really do much about it. I'm just going to go out, live my life, not going to stay in the house all day.
The shootings happened Friday night after the city held its official Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Shots rang out just before 10 p.m., just steps away from the ABC 7 State Street studios. Police say they spotted a large crowd on the sidewalk in the 100 block of North State Street near the Chicago Theater when gunfire erupted and the crowd scattered.
It is, quite frankly, frustrating and quite upsetting when this type of violence takes place.
The mayor says city officials got wind of some social media posts about a possible teen takeover downtown and had been working for the last few days to try to stop it from happening.
There was a communication that was delivered to CPS to encourage young people not to participate in these unauthorized gatherings. 7
teens ranging in age from 13 to 17 were shot. Most are listed in good or fair condition. A separate shooting near Dearborn and Monroe, a 14-year-old boy was killed and an 18-year-old was wounded. Community violence interrupter Pastor Donovan Price says teens need supervision, especially in large crowds.
Bring some family with you. Bring mom, bring auntie, bring somebody with you, bring an adult with you. And just watch out and be careful. We're praying for you.
The violence comes as a lot of people venture back downtown for the Chris Kendall Market and the Magnificent Mile Lights Festival.
Even though we had an incident downtown yesterday that was very unfortunate, nothing can stop me from coming to celebrate our city, the holidays, and lighting up Michigan Avenue.
Authorities say 18 people were arrested for curfew violations and various assaults. Chicago police plan on deploying an additional 300 officers on top of the already 700 assigned to cover weekend festivities. City officials say they are continuing to closely monitor the downtown area for unusual activity. More large crowds are expected.
Yeah. Does that make you want to go down to Chicago? I don't think so. 24 hours ago, the Democrat mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, this is, I believe, an earlier clip, but he called law enforcement a sickness.
Law enforcement, the fact of the matter is we are driving violence down on the city, and we're using every single resource that's available to us. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities. The fact of the matter.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people are shooting up Christmas parties, Christmas celebrations in downtown Chicago. Here's a clip from that moment when he spoke after the teen was killed.
Last night, just hours after, more than 20,000 people came downtown to enjoy our annual tree lighting ceremony. There were 2 serious shooting incidents. At around 10 p.m., 7 victims were shot at 164 North State Street, and moments later, there was another shooting at 140 South Dearborn, where there were 2 additional victims. One of those victims, a 14-year-old, sustained multiple gunshot wounds and died. There were 5 guns that were recovered. No parent certainly wants to get that terrible, life-altering call. It is senseless violence like these shootings that makes us all feel unsafe. And it has left too many families in Chicago reeling.
And you're doing nothing, absolutely nothing about it. President Trump, however, he has plans. This is what he has planned for New York City.
Meeting yesterday.
Do you still plan to deploy the National Guard to New York City?
If they need it. Right now, other places need it more, but if they need it, we had a very good meeting yesterday. We talked about that. But if they need it, I would do it.
Do you still plan?
New York City, how about Chicago? Let's go. Let's go. Get it done. 6 hours ago, kids used bear spray. Learned this morning during the teen takeover, kids used bear spray and stun guns against Chicago police. And now a word from Mayor Junk Bond status.
Son was slaughtered. Look, demonizing children is wrong. We have to keep them safe as well. Have you ever taught middle school? I have. Have you ever raised young people? Do you understand the risk that young people take just because they're young? Do you know that home plate is at the bottom of my stairs? I found that out when my son was sliding down those stairs trying to score. They're young. Sometimes they make silly decisions. They do. And so we have to make sure that we are investing to make sure that young people know that they are supported. Look, demonizing children.
Demonizing children. Okay. When you have 300 that all organized in a mob action. This is really sad. The 14-year-old boy was killed. Identified as Armani Floyd. Cook County Medical Examiner ruled his death a homicide caused by multiple gunshot wounds. 14 years old. Killed during a night of violence. I saw 2 separate shootings occur less than an hour apart in the Loop. First incident took place near the Chicago Theater. 7 teenagers ranging from age 13 to 17 were wounded shortly after Floyd, an 18-year-old man, shot blocks away on the South Dearborn. Sources linked the violence to social media-driven gathering that drew teens from across the area following the annual tree lighting ceremony. Video footage reportedly shows large crowds roaming the street before scattering as gunfire erupted. Officers recovered 9mm casings at both scenes. No suspects in custody. The information shared is based on initial reports that may not be fully verified and is presented as alleged details are subject to change as the investigation proceeds. This one says it's safer to walk in downtown Iraq. Why do you think they call it Chirac? Shooting at Chicago's Christmas tree lighting event leaves 1 dead. Freshman Armani Floyd, 14, shot dead in Chicago Loop hours after tree lighting. Here's video of that moment. Christmas tree lighting turned into a bloodbath after midnight when gunfire erupted near the Chicago Theater.
On X, 3 posts on X from Alderman Brian Hopkins, who's of course one of the downtown aldermen, and he, this is the alderman speaking here, so that's who we're attributing this to. He has posted a tweet or on X, 300 juveniles, he says, noting rioting in the Loop now. At least 5 victims have been shot, 1 critical with life-threatening gunshot wound to the torso. Multiple police officers attacked.
300 juveniles rioting in the Loop.
With mace and stun guns. At least 1 police officer has been hospitalized. That's according to downtown Alderman Brian Hopkins, who has been very vocal, Rob and Cheryl and Trey, about the need to have new rules of engagement for the Chicago police in terms of how they can deal with youth and how they can deal with large gatherings of youth that happen, as Cheryl, as you say, when the weather gets nice. And it became quite a political story not just a few months ago. Brian Hopkins, one of the big advocates for.
Absolutely insane, man. Merry frickin' Christmas. 48 hours ago, President Trump posted on Truth Social, massive crime and rioting in the Chicago Loop area. Multiple police officers attacked, badly injured, 300 people rioting, 6 victims shot, 1 critical, 1 dead. In the meantime, Governor Pritzker and low IQ mayor of Chicago are refusing federal government help for a situation that can be quickly remedied. The people are chanting, "Bring in Trump." More from Rapid Response 47, posting this clip from CBS News Chicago.
Like this happens. It's very disheartening to see this. You know, right. Holiday time, everybody wants to celebrate and enjoy the evening, and something like this happens.
Suzanne, this morning, still a lot of details coming to light on both of these shooting scenes. We know last night, area Alderman Brian Hopkins said that multiple police officers were also hurt during those shootings. He said at least one police officer had to be hospitalized.
It's very disheartening to see this, you know.
Brandon Johnson, Pritzker, complete AWOL. Absolute insanity. Does that make you want to go to Chicago? At least we have this beautiful moment from the White House today to kind of put a silver lining on this whole thing. But still, you have a 14-year-old shot, dead. The most sickening moment, though, came when we learned the truth. During the teen takeover, kids used bear spray and stun guns against Chicago police. Think about that. Just think about that. Using chemical weapons, attacking officers while gunfire erupts around families celebrating Christmas. Safer to walk in downtown Iraq. Why? Because at least in a war zone, you know where the enemy is. This is Chicago's reality check. And is coming to your city next if we don't wake up. When teenagers can turn a Christmas celebration into a killing field with zero consequences, when mayors vanish while children die, when police are attacked with chemical weapons by kids, we're not talking about crime anymore. We're talking about societal collapse. Armani Floyd should be planning his Christmas list right now, not lying in a morgue. His family should be decorating their tree, not planning a funeral. This is what progressive policies deliver. Dead children, terrified families, and politicians who disappear when the bullets start flying. So here's my question for the comments. Should parents arm themselves when attending public events in Democrat-run cities? Yes or no? Because clearly the government won't protect you. Let me know below and grab some Next News merch to show you stand for law and order. You'll find the link in the description.